Hey hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a dip once again into the Infernac universe by way of Nucleous, the newest of the armorizers for the Transformers Legacy United line. And this is a remold, reuse, so to speak, of Magneous, who I am absolutely smitten by. We are some halfway through the year as of this recording, and honestly, I still feel like Magneous is going to be in the running for one of the top 10 slots for best of 2024. Time will tell exactly how the rest of the year plays out. So I had high hopes for Magneous as well. Did Magneous live up to them? We're going to find out together in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that, man, is in the description down below, and also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, or of course, you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the packaging for, of course, Nucleous. And very interesting. I'd heard that this character was made of Nucleon, and I didn't make the connection to Action Masters. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I did have high hopes for this. Love the look. How does the functionality pan out? How about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy? And so we kick into high gear with the latest wave of the Transformers Legacy United releases with this guy. It is the Infernac universe, Nucleous, and he's made of Nucleon. And for those of you who don't know and didn't watch GotBot Goes Live, a couple of weeks ago, probably when you're seeing this, Nucleus is made of Nucleon. Nucleon is an alternate energy source that, while it gives the user, I suppose, like a real big bump, a almost insurmountable power, it does have the side effect of burning out transformation circuits, or what we would in the modern age kind of call TCOG. Meaning that the Transformers that wield Nucleon energy lose the ability to transform. As a matter of fact, that's the whole story behind why Action Masters happened. It's not that they just didn't transform. The fiction said that they ended up using Nucleon energy, and that took away their ability to transform. And ergo, they were just robots whose transformation circuits no longer functioned. The idea in Legacy United, apparently, according to what came across from Mark Marr, is, I think that's his name, is that anybody who uses or wears Nucleus as armor will be running the risk of no longer being able to transform. Very, very, very big risk for a Transformer. On the front we have the really cool looking vehicle mode for Nucleus. Over here we have the, almost like a knight's helmet here, a la Age of Extinction. Down here, even with that big, I don't know what we call it, bat, I suppose? Spiked bat? The usual artwork over on the side, and then on the back, of course, you can see the robot, the alt mode, all the pieces, and then you see Hotshot, which also came out in this wave, wearing some of the bits and pieces. People have asked me, hey GotBot, are you getting Legacy United Hotshot? No, I'm not, because, not for nothing, I got the Selects Cybertron Defense version of the guy, and I'm not into Unicron Trilogy. It's not my era. I've talked about it. I don't care for it. I don't really like it, and I don't remember any of it. That's not saying that it's bad or that you shouldn't like it. Maybe it was your era. In fact, I've been calling for more RID 2001 and Unicron Trilogy and even animated characters, because you know what? The fans of those eras absolutely deserve that same feeling of nostalgia that the G1 and even Beast Wars fans have gotten over the last little while. Not for nothing, this is a good enough version of Hotshot for me. I like the mold, I like the alt mode, cool. I didn't need the Evolution one, and I don't need the new one, but this was a great opportunity to see the parts added onto him. Much like with the United one, the pieces that are on the side of the forearms are still on the legs. Unlike the new United one, the back tires are now the shins of this guy. He does have in his hand the melee thing. And I even managed to, in an alternate fashion, put the arms of Nucleus on the shoulders as they're supposed to be on the new Legacy United version. The oddest part is that the front shins and feet come off of the main body of Nucleus, and they can go together, and they do have pegs that can go in the hand to make another melee accessory, I guess. But other than that, they don't really seem to have anywhere that they can easily attach to other guys as an armorizer, so I don't know why those pieces can come off of the legs. I don't know if it's a holdover from Magneous or what. Very weird, very, very strange. Nevertheless, Hotshot can, you know, wield most of the parts. There is a core body that we'll look at in a few minutes. Here's the thing. Because this is a remold of Magneous, I decided to go completely in the reverse direction when it comes to the transformation and start out with all of the bits and pieces off and on someone else first. This is fairly functional as much as any of these armorizers are functional. He also comes with a big, beautiful, and generally effective set of instructions. That said, there's a couple of design things here that I'm a little, I don't know, left scratching my head about why they did it the way that they did. We'll get to it when we get to it, but the instructions for what they are fairly effective. And here we have what's left of our boy Nucleus. By the way, the hole is still here in front where the pickaxe that came with Magneous could go. I didn't think it looked good doing it with Magneous. I don't think it looks good doing it here either, so, you know, food for thought, I suppose. Let's start putting on the bits and pieces, hey? That seems like a good idea, I do believe. Where do I want to begin? I think I'm going to try, and I don't even know if I'm going to get all this on here right now. Let's begin with putting the tires on the side here. You'll notice we have 2 peg holes, and inside the tire we have 2 pegs. They go on like that, and the other one goes on like that for vehicle mode. Then we have all this kind of open space up here, and that should be where we put on the kind of folded up legs. There are, if I'm doing this right, there are 2 rectangular tabs right here, and there should be, yeah, on the knees, basically 2 rectangular slots, which means this should, if I'm doing it right, if I line it up right, yeah, be able to go down over like that. Looking a little more like a vehicle now, hey? What will I do next? Let's do, say, the arms maybe next, if I can. So the arms are... So the arms are like up underneath the body. I gotta make sure I'm doing this in the right... am I doing this in the right... Yeah, I think so. I think that this one goes on this side and comes in here on that part of the body, thusly to all look like rock here on the side. And that must mean then the other one, again... I'm trying to line up, what I'm trying to basically do is line up all of the rock. Let me kind of show you what I'm trying to line up here. So I'm trying to line up the rocky part of the shoulder with the hole on the arm and the back of the hand that also has a rock detail. That should allow me now to go underneath on this side, and using this hole here, I should now be able to, I think, peg that up and push that in on the side there like that now. Right? Okay, I think I got all of that up there. Whew. Then we should be able to attach the outside of the forearms into those holes. So I'm going to take a silver outside here, and I'm going to put it in right there, and I'm going to take the other silver outside. I'm going to slap that dude in right there. Then on the top where we have this peg hole right here in the center, that's where we put the, I don't know what we call this, the canopy, I suppose. Then we're left with these 2 pieces. This was the these pieces were the, I don't know what exactly we call it, the, it's not a bat, it's not a mace, it's, I don't know what it is. It's a club, I guess we'll call it a club. And this piece should, if I'm not mistaken, how is it that this is supposed to go on now? Is it right there? Yeah, right there like that. So, it's very important where both of these go, because this one does not have a handle. This one does have a handle. And there's a little slot right there that the handle can go in. Then there's a rectangular tab right there that goes down into a slot right there. And that's how these kind of go in vehicle mode. It's a little cumbersome to do. It's not huge, but it is slightly cumbersome. But this is, boom, in the end, the vehicle mode. And I do think it looks pretty cool. Pretty great. I don't really like these, but other than that, I think that this looks pretty good and it rolls like an absolute champion. I'm going to say that the transformation to get to here, because honestly, you kind of saw most of it, was pretty darn good. I'm not going to give it a score yet. We'll do scores when we get them in robot mode, but this was pretty easy to put all the pieces back on, as you see. That said, when we get to robot, in order to store these somewhere other than in his hand, I do have to get a little bit creative. So we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, as far as the vehicle goes, I think this is pretty great, pretty secure, pretty solid. I absolutely like it. I love the gold on the canopy, for the record. Okay, but now that we got all that done, let's take these pieces off, because now we're going to try to quickly get into robot mode. We're going to come here to the side and we're going to fold out that arm, and we're going to fold out that arm. We're going to fold down these legs all the way, and we're going to fold down these feet all the way, and we're going to even split the legs. Great. Now we're going to stand our guy up and we're going to do the rest of the transformation. Okay, so now with these up and these arms out, we can bring out a fist and bring out a fist and rotate an arm and rotate an arm. Is that right? No, rotate a wrist, sorry. Rotate that arm and that wrist. Now, that's both arms. Taken care of and done. Sweet! Then we're going to come here to the top, and we have to try and hold these pieces open a little bit, because if you will remember from Magneous, this whole section, see how that likes to come off? This is why I wish that the front of the legs didn't come off, because I do find that they come off super easy on this version. Nevertheless, we bring the hood, I guess, forward a little bit. We flip out the head, and then we bring the hood even forward more. Now that we got the head flipped out, we can fold in the front tire, fold in a front tire, and this whole thing comes down, and there's a little notch and a little tab at the shoulder, and a little notch and a little tab at this shoulder that brings them in, so that, boom, in the end... Oh, and I suppose, not for nothing, I guess I should technically do this to make it official. Put those two pieces together, and then that goes in his hand, but boom, in the end, here we have Nucleus in his robot mode. Now, I wanted to know, what can you do with this if you don't want it in his hand? Well, there's two things. One, still using this notch back here, you can loosely put that in, like kind of in the back there. That's an option. It doesn't stay super solid on my copy, but it's an option that you can do. Also, you can take this whole back piece off and put it on like the side of the arm as a shield, or in the hand as a shield if you're inclined. So I said, no, I don't like that. So what am I going to do? So I took this piece off, and I separated these. And I said, okay, what I could do is put this piece in right there. But then I've got to take this peg and put it right there. It does bring the tire well out, and that concerned me, because I said, what about articulation? On the other side, I've done the exact same thing. I took that piece off. I used this peg down here on the bottom hole. I have it kind of in behind. And not for nothing, but I take that peg and I do this with it. I tried putting these pieces behind the legs to fill in the back of the legs, but that didn't really work. I did it with these pieces on the forearms for Magneous before. I thought maybe something like that could work. I think the transformation's fine, but I wish that these club pieces had somewhere better to store. I'm going to say that the transformation is a 9.5. Then we get to the look of the guy. I'm going to say it's 10. I love all the silver and the gold and how it plays off the white. This looks really, really cool. So far we have a 9.5, we have a 10, 9.75. What about the articulation for this guy? Well, the head goes left and right. It can not really look up or down. The arms go all the way around. They go well out to the side, elbow to 90 degrees, bicep swivel. The wrist can go in, wrist rotation all the way around. The legs here, they can go, or the waist I mean, can go all the way around. I just knocked this piece off, but it's important that that stay on for what I want to show when we get to the articulation. The legs, they can go, you know, I mean, not all the way forward because of the molding, but I don't know, well enough forward, I guess. Well enough forward, I suppose. Out to the side, they can go all the way out to the side. See how this front of the leg is coming off again? This is the problem with this guy. There, it's back on again. Got, you know, good splits. Thigh rotation. Very deep knee, even with the junk now on the outside of that leg. Over here, again, very deep knee, even with the junk on the outside of the leg. It affects nothing for articulation. Ankle tilt, ankle forward and back. The guy stands like a champion. I'm going to say the articulation is, honestly, a 9.5. He can do pretty much everything I want him to do. I think the Magneous is slightly better, but this guy was getting a 9.5, really. No, he was getting, what did I say for the look? 10. I said the transformation a 9. So yeah, he was getting a 9.5. The articulation's a 9.5. He's a 9.5. That said, here's something that I didn't know about this guy, and really the rest of the armorizers that we have so far. And it's that apparently in fiction, the going story is that, and I'm just going to put him in behind. You're not going to be able to see him, I don't think, on screen. At least not his head, but I think you're going to know who it is. Apparently this guy, you know who that is? Do you know who that is? I'll angle it up slightly for you. That guy, the Star Seeker, the Star Raider, the captain of the tidal wave, not that tidal wave, the pirate ship, the tidal wave, Thundertron here, apparently is seeking across the expanse of the universe in order to exact his ultimate revenge on Cybertron, because apparently he is somebody who lived on one of the colony worlds that got like cut off from Cybertron, cut off from supply chains and resources when the Space Bridge Network got shut down to stop the spread of the Rust Plague. Who knew? But apparently, to exact his revenge for all of that happening, he is going across the universe to find the mythic armorizers. In fact, he may have to go to the multiverse to find the mythic armorizers. He and his crew of Star Raiders / Star Seekers aboard the tidal wave are seeking to expand the crew by adding Junkions and armorizers. That's the goal. I didn't know, but through a couple of the designers and stuff, Mark Marr being one of them, bits and pieces of what the story's supposed to be has come about. Kind of cool. Like, I was wondering, like, more than, you know, Thundertron and, like, his known kind of crew of, you know, Star Raiders, Star Seekers, like, how are the Infernac guys going to fit into it? I'm so excited to learn more lore about these guys. I really, really am. And knowing that there's something that's not powered by a spark. They're not children of Primus. There's something else. They're living rock that somehow this guy knows could be the key to his ultimate victory. I love that. I love that. I want to learn more about him. I think the newest armorizer is another kind of slam dunk. I like Magneous a little bit better in terms of a use of that mold. The version that will come with this guy, I have no reason to believe that that bluish version won't be another slam dunk use of this mold, or this mold if you will. I can't wait to get the Boulder Crash reuse. I guess at some point we might get a shard. I don't know, we'll see, but I love it. Overall score for Nucleus is a 9.5. He is splendid. So here we are, and here he is. So first things first, I still absolutely love the look. I also like that there's a tie-in here to Action Masters, being that like Nucleon energy that, you know, they use that cost them the ability to transform, and that is carried through now in the fiction, so to speak, for Legacy United, and specifically the armorizers. I really am disappointed that we don't have a better storage in robot mode other than these two pieces being like a baton, a club, a whatever. And I've even struggled to come up with the proper term to use for that thing, because it's not really a club, it's not really a baton, it's not a blaster, it's, I don't know what it is. But this works. Shockingly, it makes the leg, yes, a little bulky, but the shocking part is that it really doesn't affect functionality. I do wish, however, that the front of the leg, which you just saw there when I went to bend the knee, it came off. I do very much wish, though, that the front of the leg stayed on a little bit tighter. I think Magneous is the superior use of this mold. I'm glad to have this one, but I don't know if I would specifically go hunting for it. If I had to choose between Magneous or this one, I'm not gonna lie, I would absolutely, positively take Magneous first. This is good, but to me, Magneous is better. Make of that what you will. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, please and thank you, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget, man, not for a moment, not for a second, that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.